Now, is the intro going to be
that you just talked over?
beautiful?
Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, 3-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Puckers New Jersey Devils podcast with Chris, Dan, Bobby, and Tony, the Uncle Puckers. Let's go Devils!
We heard that 5 times last night, guys. So what's up? What's up, boys? We are the Uncle Puckers. I'm Chris with Tony and Dan tonight. How you boys doing on this wonderful Saturday evening?
Not bad. Missing Bob a little bit, but
one less friend, literally.
I did. It was just the two of us. It was the first time that we did a show. It was kind of fun, except when I watched it on YouTube and I realized, wow, we have some shiny heads between us. Like
I was going to say that to you guys. Actually,
just the baldest of bald up there, but it was fun. But I'm glad.
It was
I
a good show,
when
Chris.
we're all together. Thank you.
I listened to you and Bobby, and you guys did good. It was a good show, but just you two.
That's all Bobby. But what did you guys watch the game last night?
Yes.
Yeah.
So guys, I thought this show was last night, our show. So I watched the game. I put my stuff together. Right, I'm sitting in the garage waiting for you guys to sign on for like about 20 minutes. I go back and look through the text. Now, remember, it's 5 o'clock in the morning here. I stay up for an extra 20. I'm sitting there and I'm like looking at this. I'm like, wait a second. I go back and read the text and I'm like, fuck, Saturday.
We're gonna keep on doing that to you now.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, we'll be on in 5 minutes and we go to bed. And that's it.
Well, there was no I'll be on in 5 minutes, so that's when I was like, wait, man, something's not right here. There's no.
So did you just get the days mixed up, or just the time? Did you think it was Saturday, like where you're like, wait, we're supposed to wait? It's not.
Well, you know what it was?
Friday.
Didn't we say like this week at one point we're like, well, we're trying to figure out schedules because we're like, oh, we'll do Friday.
Right. Yes,
so
it got really because we were trying to get because Bobby couldn't do Friday or Saturday this weekend, so. Originally, we were going to do, since like nobody was around for the Thursday show, I was like, all right, why don't we just cancel the Thursday show and we can all go on Friday. And then Bobby's like, I can't do Friday either. So I was like, all right, well then fuck it. We'll just keep it for Saturday. There's no reason to move it to Friday. But it was all through a group text that I'm sure can get extremely confusing. So, but I'm glad you made it tonight.
Yeah, I was jacked up on coffee last night waiting for you guys.
Jack used up on coffee.
Jack used up on coffee.
Well, last night, I'll go over it quick. We'll do a little bit of the box score. Devils 5, Sabres 4. That was Game 7 for this season last night at The Rock. And once again, the Devils failed to score first in a game, and they are 7 for 7 with that this season, playing from behind in the first. The Sabre lead was short-lived, and we will now get into the nitty-gritty. Period 1, Peterka scores his third of the year. That was at 6:11, and that was from Yari Kor and Powers. And a minute and a half later, at 7:41, Alex Holtz ties the game with his second of the year from Luke Hughes and Michael McLeod.
He looked good there.
Yeah, he did. I think Alex Holtz probably had the best game of his Devil career last night. Actually, there were a couple
I love the goal,
guys.
too. He was right in front of the net, just, causing trouble, and it was great.
It's the type of goal that the Devils need to score more of. Those dirty, gritty goals. He was absolutely...
not everything's a beautiful snipe from the point or something, yeah.
And then, Buffalo regained the lead. Tyce Thompson scores his fourth of the year from Tuck and Greenway at 15:42. And then kind of all hell broke loose, and we will discuss that a lot as far as the match penalty. We ended up 4-on-4. We'll talk about the penalty after this. And then Bratt scores 4-on-4 at 16:11. It was an unassisted goal. That was when we got the major penalty to who the hell was that again on Buffalo? Doesn't matter.
Clifton, Connor Clifton.
Yeah, Connor Clifton.
Clifton.
And that's how the first period ended. He did get suspended. Good. So it's 2-2 now after one. And Devils actually looked like they skated their ass off in the first period. It was a good first period. Second period, we're on now. We start off with a 3-minute power play because it's a 5-minute penalty. We don't score on it. Stays 2-2 for a good portion of the second period. At 13:47, Eric Haula scores his first of the night, and it's an unassisted shorthanded goal. And then Rasmus Dahlin ties it up, his first of the year from Samuelsson and Skinner. And now it's 3-3 after 2. I thought second period, I thought the Devils did not really. It was the weakest period, which is odd because that's usually their strongest. But I thought the second period just kind of was plodding. Like, it was just kind of boring. Like, nobody really got a lot of offense. And Bratt's goal was gorgeous. He's got a hell of a shot. And rolls into the third period. Guys, we're 2 periods into the game. Jack Hughes isn't on the board. Jack Hughes has had points in every single game. Is this the first one? Is he going to do it? Is he not going to make it on the board? Nope. Boy won't be denied. 2:09 in the third. It's a power play goal. Jack nets his 5th from Luke and Timo Meier. It gives the Devils a 4-3 lead, and it stayed that way a while until Dylan Cousin tied the game for Buffalo at his 4th of the year, or 3rd of the year. That was from Okposo at 12:35, and now we are tied at 4 at 14:17. Eric Haula strikes again, his 4th of the year, 2nd of the game. Game winner from Ball and Marino, and the Devils go on to a 5-4 victory at home against the Buffalo Sabres. Eric Comrie started the game for Buffalo, had some kind of weird injury. He left the game in the second. He made 16 saves on 18 shots, and then Luukkonen came in. In backup, he made 18 saves on 21 shots. Vitek made the saves when he had to. He looked pretty good. It was 23 saves on 27 shots for the win. And that is pretty much the box score of last night's game. 3 stars of the game. Michael McLeod, number 3, who skated his ass off, played a really good game. Jesper Bratt, the 2nd star, and the 1st star goes to the man with the 2 goals, and that's Eric Haula, along with
he had a great game. Haula had a great game. I'm concerned with, the amount of goals we're giving up. It's a lot. Now, it's starting to become a pattern because we're, 7 games in or something like that. And, it's something they have to fix. We got to fix the team defense. We need stronger performances from the goaltenders. Schmid's last outing was definitely not up to par. So, I don't like how many goals we're giving up, but boy, can they score. And, they've only dropped 2 games, playing really, I don't know. I mean, at most, they play 40 minutes a game.
I don't think they've played a solid 60 yet.
Yeah, and outside of last night's game, I would have said maybe like 20 minutes, half hour out of 60 minutes. It would be the most they were playing up until then.
I do think that last night's game was the best team game that they played. I felt like this is the first game that they kind of had each other's backs. We knew going into the season that there was going to be some hiccups on the defensive end, especially with Ball and Hughes in there. And we saw those in the beginning of the year, but nobody else was picking up the slack. When those guys are making mistakes, but then our veterans are also compounding that by making mistakes, it just leads to complete dysfunction, and they look like shit on defense. Last night, I thought that they picked up the slack a little bit better. I thought that they kind of played for each other a little bit more.
That was evident when Nico got hit. Palat goes to right at that,
Now, Tony, you had said Connor Clifton. I heard today that the player safety, the NHL's player safety, whatever, was going to look into this. So they did suspend Clifton for 2 days.
Yes, 2 games.
2 games.
Yes.
Depending, we already know he's ruled out tomorrow against the Wild. We don't know it's an upper body injury. We don't know anything else, but this could end up have been a Pyrrhic victory for the Devils if Hischier is going to be out for any significant time. He took a huge fucking shot to the head.
I saw an interesting stat regarding Hischier. He's 3rd in the league as far as hits received for any player who's played, I think more than 7 games. No, more than 70 minutes total this season. So basically any player who's played. For 60 minutes, he averages 3 hits. 3 hits a game.
Talked about this on one of the shows, and Dan, you weren't here, and I asked Tony and Bobby, I'm like, does it seem like he's getting, like, people are kind of keying on him a little more? It seems like people are going after him a lot more, and you actually have the data that backs that up. It's the truth. Yeah. Why?
I believe that people think we're kind of soft. I hate to say it. Yeah. I know Palat did come through a little bit yesterday, but still, I don't see we don't have a team that's going to make you pay. We still don't have a team that's going to make you pay. And I do believe people take liberties on some of our guys. I heard you guys talking, Chris, last show about Halla. He is a target, but that's Halla. I think he's one of those guys you hate if you're not on the same team with him. It's a little different. But I do think some of our younger guys and our smaller dudes get whacked a little bit extra because are you really, think about it, guys, if you're the other team, are you really worried about paying the price against the Devils? I don't think so. When it comes to physicalness, I'm not talking about goal scoring and stuff.
I mean, look, as soon as Clifton hit Heischer, Palat dropped the gloves. That's fantastic. I don't give a shit about the instigator penalty. That's fantastic. I love
that's what you want. A lot better than last year against Florida.
Yeah, and but we talked about it back in the summer. Do they need a solid, stay-at-home, responsible defenseman? And it kind of looks like they do. They need kind of that big body, somebody that maybe will drop the gloves if they have to, but that stay-at-home dude that can just settle shit down. And I thought that Colin Miller was going to be that guy, but he hasn't made it into the lineup, and now he's injured, so we don't know how long he'll be out. And now with Heischer out and Nosek out, I don't know how these lines are going to look moving forward. I hope
Ball's
that Heischer's
young, but I was hoping Ball would fill that role a little bit too.
This is all kind of a learning process for this team right now, and they're hanging in there, but they're far from playing their best hockey yet.
Right.
Yeah, and I think what Dan said is right. We haven't seen a full game, or Chris, you might have said it. We haven't seen a full game from them. Even last night, goaltending is still, it's still. I mean, even last night when the game was over, that was a game we could have lost in a way. I was kind of, not sold.
You can't. I was
just kind of looking at the standings, and if you looked at like goals against and goals for, I looked up and I'm like, wow, Rangers have played, I think maybe one more game, let 13 goals in. We've let like 29 goals in,
and we haven't played big teams yet. I mean, everybody's tough.
We've scored way more than them, and that's why we still have a good record.
We're third in goals scored. We average 4.14 goals a game, and we are 28th in goals against. We give up 3.71 goals a game. That's
got to change. We can't stay like that long term. It's just not going to be the season we want, let alone the playoffs.
And 26th in the penalty kill. That's abysmal. 73.1%. That's it. I mean, we're first in the power play. That's fantastic. But last year we were fourth on the PK. Now, if we can stay in the top 5 in both of those, this is a dangerous team. But right now, Marino's struggling. I think Siegenthaler's struggling. I think Luke Hughes is playing really good for what he's a rookie. He's only played 8 regular season games, 10 regular season games or whatever. So he's learning. But I think that, there's a couple of dudes on this team that just haven't, especially on the blue line, that just haven't played to their potential yet. And that's worrisome.
Yes.
And I think, again, you guys were talking. I listened to the last show yesterday, so I'm kind of catching up with you guys. And I agree with some of the points I heard on the last show that I wanted to mention. I do believe it's funny because we saw Severson play every day. And, when you see people play every day with great, you see these guys, you kind of see a lot of their mistakes, right? But I do think we do miss the Graves, and we do miss the Severson right now. And
I think Luke Hughes is going to
be fine. He did fall that first
Graves
goal.
A lot more than Severson.
Yeah, I mean, we missed that. I think our defense is definitely, kind of right now, and I believe it'll get there. I think Nemitz will be up before we know it. I have a feeling, but I don't think so. To see that.
Really? I think they're going to go after somebody more defensively solid. I don't think we don't need another offensive defenseman right now. We just need some big bodies in there, and we have a lot of injuries down in Utica too, which is hurting us. So I mean. Cal Foot's up. Brendan Smith's been in every game. This guy has not been playing good. Even last night, stupid penalties, bad mistakes. And
he's not a developing player.
Right.
This is what you got, and it's not good enough right now.
Who's your guys' biggest worry on this team right now? If you had to look at you're only 7 games in. What player though is your biggest? If you had to say, wow, I don't know if this. I say Schmid. Now we go back to what
it's Akira Schmid.
Mercer, I'm kind of a little bit worried about, but I think he'll be fine because he's got the hockey sense. But
played a good game last night. Didn't get on the score sheet, but he played a good game. He was active. He was making plays. He was very good in the offensive zone. I thought that the bottom 6 played good last night. I thought Michael McLeod played his ass off last night.
Yes,
I thought Curtis Lazar had a good game. So offensively, there's no issues here. But they've got to tighten things up. And go ahead.
I was watching the other broadcast last night. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the Devils broadcast, and I was really surprised how good they were talking about McLeod. Actually, like I was like, well, they were saying like this guy's really turning into a player that people don't even notice that's out there, but he's really like actually producing. And I have to say, I was surprised to hear the words they were saying about McLeod, and I agree. I think McLeod's. I mean, he's. I guess if you're not on your team, you probably don't notice him too much. I guess I would figure he's one of those dudes that if you watch him every day, you're like, a Michael McLeod fan. But he's on people's radar.
The face-offs too. Everybody talks about face-offs, so they pick him up from that too.
He can play anywhere.
Awesome on face-offs.
And the other thing about last night too, like we talk about Mercer, and he wasn't, but he moved up to the center role of the third line, and Holla was playing the wing. I thought that worked out really well.
It did, and I liked Holtz on the fourth line.
Yeah, and I didn't think I was going to like him there. I thought, you're kind of, what you expect from fourth liners is Holtz that guy. But, him and Bastian and McLeod, they looked really good.
And he played it like a fourth liner. Like that goal he scored that I was like, I like that goal. Because it's a gritty goal. He's right in front of the net. He's, on top of the goalie, basically, picking up rebounds, putting them in. And it wasn't his prettiest goal he's ever scored. We see some beautiful highlight type goals from him, in his minor league career. But, that's what it takes, right? So I'm happy to see that Holtz has really done well at the beginning of the season.
And up until last night, Toffoli and Meyer were the only two dudes that were getting in front of that net. So it's nice to see that maybe, Holtz on that fourth line, maybe he can develop into a little bit more, maybe he needs to change his game up a little bit.
That's what I was thinking when I saw him. Like, yes, that's what you need to do. It sounds weird, but I feel like we don't need another sniper. Plus, he's got those skills. When he gets the opportunity, he's still going to make some pretty goals once he gets going. But what we really have the need for is that gritty type of guy in front of the net.
I mean, like you said, I was hoping that Ball would be that dude as far as not the guy in front of the net, of course, but like just being that physical presence and
that guy clearing out the guy in front of the net.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's all skill and on this team, and I love it, and they're fun to watch. But I don't want to see 5-4 games every night. I do want to see a couple of 3-1s. Let's get a couple of shutouts this season. Let's lock it down a little bit more, and they're fully capable of it. And our forwards are so good taking the puck away and starting to transition the other way. Like Jack and Bratt, like they're so sneaky. Like they'll come up right behind players and just snag the puck, and they're gone. I think, and what do you guys think about this? Jack Hughes on the penalty kill.
Well, the only issue I got is we got a lot of minutes out of Jack. Do we want to add more minutes on penalty kill? I mean, we need help on the penalty kill. So, and do I think he's got the talent to do it? Absolutely. I mean, I'd like to try it out, at least limited amount of time. See how
maybe
goes.
If you have Bratt on one wave of the PK, and then you throw Hughes out on the second wave of the PK, and you hope for some shorties, or he's so good defensively. And the only reason that I had any kind of reservation about it was exactly what you just said. Like, how much more ice time are you going to give the guy? He took off a practice on Saturday just as hey dude, you've been carrying this team, take the day off.
I think Jack Hughes would like more playing time.
Yeah, you know what? You're probably right, Tony. I mean, this guy just wants the puck all the time. And look, man, he is right now the best player in the NHL. I mean, this has never happened to the Devils if it wasn't, we've had the best goalie in the NHL and stuff like that, but we've never had a forward like this. And he is just amazing.
I heard a cool Jack Hughes story this weekend. I heard there was a fan, I guess, that was over in Montreal when they played. And they had a Jack Hughes jersey on, and they went in the elevator, and Hughes walked in the elevator all of a sudden. I guess they didn't know the team was staying at the hotel. And just the person who got really nervous. I don't know, they might be listening, this person, but if you are, I'm using your story that I heard. And Jack Hughes walks in the elevator, and the guy's all freaked out, and he looks at Jack, and he goes, "Jack, can you sign on the jersey?" And first Jack rolls his eyes and goes, "Of course, man." Like, totally. I mean, this guy is a superstar. And back when I was younger, I was around a lot of these, quote, superstar players. And they weren't nice like Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes actually
Gretzky told you to go fuck yourself, guy. I think, right?
No, with my buddy, yeah.
Yeah, basically. Now, that story about that, I'm almost you were trying to get Gretzky's autograph for a long time.
So it wasn't
right?
me. It was my buddy. I got Gretzky. When I was a kid, I went to they had these open skates. I met Gretzky. Gretzky was never a dick. He was just kind of never said anything. He was one of those quiet dudes when he met his fans. But my buddy, for some reason, there was like 50 people there. It was during the All-Star weekend in Tampa, actually. That was when it was like Madonna, Brett Hull, Patrick. It was all the biggies that we grew up watching were there that year. Mario. And so my buddy, there's like 50 people. And my buddy has a puck he's standing trying to get signed. And I swear Gretzky signed for everybody but my buddy. And actually, it was to the point where, like, for some reason, I don't know why, but Gretzky was, like, skipping over him. So my buddy, to this day, whenever he sees Wayne Gretzky, he's like, fuck him, So that's the impression you leave. It's funny, though, because I think about that. And there's guys that I met when I was younger who weren't the greatest players, but you always appreciate them. J.J. Daniel, guys that you don't even – they're not household names, but you do remember as a fan with the people who are cool to you and the people who are dicks.
Sure. I heard even like now, though, like if you see Gretzky at a freaking, supermarket and he'll take pictures, he'll sign, he'll do whatever. Like, I mean, so he must have just thought your friend was a dick.
That's what who was kind of a jerk as a player when he first came in the league? Because I met him when he was very young. Yager. He was kind of a douchey player, I thought. And of course Messier. I always message my disdain for Messier, but yeah, exactly. He had the mullet back then. He used to wear
I think he still does.
But like Messier, I'll never forget. He was the total douche to fans when you're a kid around him. Maybe he's cool now. I don't know.
I don't think he's cool now.
I see him on broadcast. He's so far from cool. Like him, Buchagras and PK doing that show. It's okay. First of all, they both don't like PK. That's pretty obvious.
Oh yeah,
right. Like, but even Buchagras, he's like he doesn't really dig PK's shtick. Like, if you don't like PK Subban, I get how he probably gets under your skin. But Messier, he really hates him. You could tell.
I don't think that Messier likes too many people. He just seems like a jerk. I know him and Danico are like BFFs, so I guess he likes weird, Kenny. So we are going to now do our little accountability session because it's Saturday night and it's the Pucker predictions, and I swear I will get a sounder for this little game at some point. And this is the only hockey podcast in America that puts scores to our wrong answers, and you can see every week just how stupid we really are. And we're going to start with the ones that we did last week and see who got them right and who got them wrong. So the first prediction Bobby made, and this is just over the 3 games. It was the Montreal game, the Washington game, and last night's Buffalo game. Bobby said that against the Canadiens, the Devils will eclipse 40-plus shots in that game. The Devils got 34 shots. Tony, you said that – well, I'll do all Bobby's first. Bobby said that Jesper Bratt will have two goal games in that stretch. And then Bobby's third prediction was that Dawson Mercer was not only going to get off his schneid, he was going to get 3 consecutive goals in those 3 games.
So that's really far.
That's what you get from a Mets fan. That's what you get from a Mets fan.
Right? 0 for 3.
She's really on that schneid.
Tony. You said that Vitek Vanacek would get a shutout in his next start.
Did not.
Now, that start that he got was against the Canadiens. And he played pretty good, but, yeah, he did not get that. You said that Jesper Bratt will have 2 goals against the Washington Capitals.
Oh.
I'm a Raider fan. Do I get help for that? Or
and then you said that Jack Hughes would get 5 goals and 4 assists in his next 3 games.
That was ambitious.
Points-wise,
very ambitious. Okay, I mean, definitely. Dan, you said that we will get a new scorer in each of the next 3 games.
We did. We got a new score. Every game was a different score.
I heard that
than the previous one. That's what I meant.
True.
I meant the score would be different.
Yeah, I don't buy that. You said that we would get 3 disallowed goals over the next 3 games. Now, we did get 1.
I got 1.
You got 1, but you said 3.
And since that was a 3-pointer, I get 1 point, I think.
Nope. You also said that we would have 3 fights in the next 3 games, and we would win 2 out of 3 of them.
I meant on the show.
I wish. The show, that may, yeah.
Now,
Oh my God! So
That
whenever
time of
you
year.
laugh, something in your garage laughs.
when he gets
right?
loud, he gets loud. He
That time
sets
of
it off.
year. If I get excited, the bats start screeching.
I love it.
Now, I said that the Devils would get a penalty shot in their next 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
They did not. I said that New Jersey would get a shorthanded goal in the Montreal Canadiens game. They got a shorthanded goal in the Buffalo game.
Yep.
So close.
Holla.
And then I said that the Sabres starting goaltender will not finish the game.
You are the
He's out for
modern
2
day
weeks.
Nostradamus. How did you
He's
know
out for
that?
Is he out for 2
by the
weeks?
way.
Now,
He's out
I
for a
thought-
few weeks, yeah.
I thought
You
it
thought
would
we were going
be-
to chase him, right? You thought it was.
I thought we were going to chase him.
we're going to score and chase him, but you
And-
somehow cursed this man with your voodoo energy.
I
You had
did.
a little like voodoo doll, and you. What did you do? Pull a groin? How did you do this to this poor man?
It's juju, man. Bad
The
juju.
Satan shit.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
right.
Church of Satan. I just prayed my ass off. I got my 1 point. Everyone else nothing. So I'm winner. You all suck, and I'm
Winner,
smarter than
winner.
everybody. Now we got to do this week's predictions. We have Bobby's, so we will go over those too. So we can start. Let's see. Let's start with Dan. What's your first prediction for this week, Mr. Daniel?
All right, we will have one.
Wait, real
shutout.
quick. I'm sorry. Just for the audience, this is only for the 2 games against the Minnesota Wild, the home and home
Sure, home
tomorrow,
and home, right.
Thursday, and then Friday night in St. Louis. These are the only block of games that you can make any prediction about, whether it's Devil related, Wild, Blue related, NHL related in that time, show related, whatever you want. But you're up, Dan. Sorry.
Okay, so I think we will have a shutout in one of the next 3 games.
So Devils will get a shutout in the next 3 games.
Which,
Okay.
it might not sound like a huge prediction, but look at the goals this team's given up. It's a big ask. I think,
it's ballsy as hell.
Well,
I think
here's the
they're due.
question. So say if Dan picks that, and one of us have that, which I don't have that one, but I have something quite
It's too
kind
late.
of the
Now you
same.
have to get a
Do
different
you have
one
to
now.
adjust it? Does
No.
it have to change?
Yeah,
We
you're
can't
fucked.
have
You
the same
would
prediction.
you would have
Sorry.
to you would have to adjust it a little bit. Like
Really?
you can
What do
say
you-
Okay.
you can say
Why?
that
Schmid,
Let
I'm
me
going
just
to say. Can I?
he can say yes. He can say Akira Schmid will have a shutout in the next.
I'm not going to say
3
that.
games, but I'm just
I'm
saying
gonna say
that,
that.
would change it enough. So that's your first one. That
Mine's gonna be-
Schmid
yes.
will get a shutout.
A bounce back shutout, please. We all hope.
All right, so I think that might be a 2-pointer or a 3-pointer because he's being more specific than me.
I'll be okay. Let's give him the hat trick. You get the gold star, and if it comes through, you get the 3 points.
There you go.
I mean, the way he's been
I'll take
playing, I think you're out of your fucking mind, but I hope
A
so.
bounce back, I said though. A bounce back.
Well, that would be a heck of a bounce back. Do you have you want to sweeten it a little more? Like, you're going to pick the
Against
game?
Min. Oh God.
Pick the number of saves.
Minnesota.
too.
I'm going to say Minnesota. Okay, I'm going to say just for what do you get if I pick this? I'll say Minnesota, and just as a bonus, I'm going to say
Bobby will blow you.
27. Bobby. Oh, hey.
Wait. So you think? So you think Schmid's which start do you think Schmid's going to get?
Minnesota. 27.
So you think he's going to start against Minnesota tomorrow, or you think he's going
You
to
know
start
what?
against Minnesota on Thursday?
I'm going to say tomorrow. I'm going to go tomorrow. Just yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to say 27 saves. Just to be, a little special.
All right, so,
So
we
wait,
need
so-
all those
wait,
all
you're-
those criteria to be met.
Tomorrow.
Oh, fuck.
So first game against you just kind of fucked yourself. And
Bobby's
it
not
would be-
blowing me.
How many? 29 saves?
20. What did I say? 27.
I don't know what you said. I think
I'm going to
it's
say
crazy, so
27. I'm going to say
27.
27.
Tony, if this hits, we'll give you 6 points.
Oh,
I'll tell you
shit,
what,
yeah.
27 or more saves. Okay? 'Cause
Okay.
if he gets 28 saves, he still made 27.
But
I
if
think that's
Vanacek
fair.
starts tomorrow, he's out. That's
Oh, yeah. No, this is a
it
dumb
doesn't
bet.
even matter.
Any way you look at it,
And I'm
this
hoping
fucking bet's
Vanacek's
dumb.
in tomorrow. That's the worst part about it. I'm hoping Vanacek's in tomorrow. So
All right, so Bobby did email us or text us his predictions. Bobby said that his first one is that both Wild games will go into overtime. So that's his first one.
Okay.
Let's see. My first prediction, against St. Louis, Jordan Biddington will have some type of meltdown in net. He will
Every game.
It'll be on
Every
TV.
game.
It'll be talked
This is
about
a half
by
a point.
It'll be talked about by Spalding and Danico, whether he's screaming at his bench, he's screaming at a rep, if he's freaking out at the Devil player. But
He's yelling at his blocker.
Jordan Binnington will yell at his net at some point. So I think
He's like the new Eddie Belfour, you know? He's really fucked
he
up.
is. Binnington will have a blow up against the Devils on Friday night. And it'll be something like, that we will all say, yeah, he's out of his mind. You know what I mean? Hang on 1 second.
It's going to be Hauler related, I'm sure.
Dan, your second prediction for the week.
All right. Second prediction is that Nico Hischier will be out all 3 games. It's a sad prediction, but that's what I'm going with. I'm concerned.
Okay. I am too. All right. Tony, your second prediction.
I'm going to say Jack Hughes will have a hat trick in the next 2 games.
In the next
Which is
2
not
games.
too crazy. Yes, not too crazy.
So that's 6 goals? 6 goals is what?
No. A hat trick in one of the next 2 games. I can't get that crazy.
Okay. Against Minnesota, Jack will have a hat trick.
Yes.
Okay. So, hat trick against Minnesota. All right. That could possibly be a hat trick. Your hat trick, not. So Bobby's second prediction. Okay, so he says that Holtz will get his first 2-goal game in one of the next 3 games. So Holtz will have a 2-goal game.
He's just looking for love, Bobby, in that one.
He loves Alex Holtz.
He does.
Yeah.
That's his...
Especially with Gray's gone. He's got all his attention on Holtz.
All right, my second prediction is that Brendan Smith will be replaced by a D-man who has yet to play a game.
That's what you said, a demon.
A demon.
You're not Brendan. Oh my God, it's a demon. He has a book.
Smith will be replaced by a defenseman that will be playing their first ever game with the New Jersey Devils. Okay?
Wait, you mean we're going to call up somebody new?
I'm thinking that, yeah.
Okay.
It's about that
Be
time,
replaced by somebody first game.
Now, Smith, if you're a listener, we don't mean this because we need all of our listeners. Just keep on tuning in.
If you're I don't think Smith listens, but Riley does. He's going to go text his brother.
Yeah.
They're talking shit about you, dude. Yeah, we are. That's is nothing. Go back a couple of shows where we completely lambasted them. All right,
Don't
Dan.
act surprised either, man. We know what you've been doing. You know what you've been doing, too.
Exactly. Your third and final prediction, Dan.
All right. Lindy Ruff will be ejected from the game after tossing a bench out on the ice.
Lindy will do his best Robbie Fatorak impression.
He's going to do a Fatorik. Yeah. No, I can't go with that.
Yeah, of course not. What do you think?
I think that I'm going to go back to something I thought was a good bet, and it didn't come out, but it's going to happen these next 3 games. We will have a goal overturned.
So you're saying a 1 goal overturned?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to not swing for the fences like I
You're
did
hedging
last
your
time.
bets. Yeah.
I'm trying to
smart.
make like some 1-point bets. I went the triple last time, right?
Yeah,
I did
you
3
did.
hat tricks.
3
and
crazy ones.
I'll tell you what, that first game looked exciting. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I absolutely got 0 points. The good news, I'm tied for second because we're all fucking stupid losers on this show.
I'm not. I have a point.
You have 1 more than the rest of us, Chris.
Which
you
is
got
one
fucking
more
point.
than the rest of you.
4 of us with
Wait till
a
next
total
week.
of 12 predictions only got 1 point. It means it's the weakest of predictions.
It means we all suck.
It was really
Especially
it
when
was exactly what I expected. Actually,
my prediction, I honestly thought we would chase him. Not that he was going to get hurt. It was just a
Right.
happenstance that I
It's a
get the
bonus
exact
point,
point.
right?
you should not even get a point for that one.
Oh no, I should get
off the skates.
If you don't, I was
We're
thinking
tied at 0.
he's going to pull his groin, and that's why he's going to leave. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Tony, your
Again,
third and final prediction.
People are not going to like this one. I mean, we need a boo sounder for this one.
Nuclear war.
There will not be a full Friends cast reunion this year or next year.
No, why would you say something like that?
I'm going to be
At a
hated
time
for
like
that.
this.
I mean, I just found out about this a little bit. No. The Devils will win both games by 2 goals or more.
What both games? They have 3 games.
The Minnesota games.
Okay, so the Devils will win by 2
goals
or
on each
more?
of those games. Yes, or
by
more.
2 or more, which is completely against Bobby's. Both those games are going to go into overtime. Win by 2 or more goals against.
Not if they hit the 3-pointer in overtime.
Nah.
He shoots a triple.
Oh.
All right, Bobby's third and final prediction is the power play gets 4 goals against the Blues. Power play nets 4 against St. Louis. Is that a hat trick, guys?
I don't know if that's what this power play has been so damn good this year. I don't know if that's a
4?
crazy. That's a lot.
I'm
I know.
willing to
In
give
one
him.
game.
The other night they
You got to
had
give him
that.
3
The other
points.
night they had 4, right?
It's a hat trick, right?
Yeah. If he said against Minnesota, he has 2 games to do it. That's not as impressive. 1 game to get 4 power play goals. I got to give him the hat trick for that one.
I agree. And my third and final prediction is that Kevin Ball will score his first goal tomorrow.
Ball with the ball.
Ball with the ball. The bang, bang, diggy, diggy, diggy.
Bang.
Score against the Wild game 1. Okay? So that's our new predictions, and we will come back on Saturday to see how awesome I am and just remain how wrong.
What's the one you guys hope
everybody
happens
else
the most? Because I would love to see. I mean, Lindy Ruff throwing the bench would be great. I mean, that's something
I
you'll
think
see
that
20
would be
years from now.
fantastic.
That would be fun. Or a water cooler or Travis Green, something on
If
the
he
ice.
does that, I think I instantly win this game for the season.
Yeah, that'd be it.
I think the one that I would like to see the most, of course, would probably be Schmid with a shutout because he needs it. The one I want to see the most is Jordan Binnington losing his shit. So,
yeah, that's going to be entertaining.
Yeah,
no doubt.
that'll be fun.
He's an entertainer. Like people get annoyed with him because he's a jerk off. But let's face it, we don't have personalities, especially in net, and we don't have as many personalities in general in hockey as we used to. So I'm all for it. Like let's have at least one crazy goaltender out there in the league anymore.
And Bobby did put a pick in, didn't he, for his son?
I don't know if he did or not.
Yeah, I think he emailed it to us or texted us. Hang on one second.
You know what I would like to
text.
see? I was thinking about this, Dan, and I always think about you when it comes to the goaltending and stuff. I know we always talk about the splits, this and that, with the way these goes these days. I'm starting to want to see Vanacek get the majority of the games. I'm not saying that Schmid, like I always say, I'm not saying Schmid's this or that, but I just feel like, and I don't want the burnout factor, of course, which we dealt with last year.
Sure.
But I mean, I don't know. It drives me crazy. I'm like, I think Vanacek should get the majority of the starts. I would like to see that with this team. Yeah,
right now, it's still early in the season, 7 games in. I agree with you that, look, I feel like it's good that we're learning this about Schmidt now. Okay. Mm-hmm. If we don't see enough of him, and then we pop him in the playoffs like last year, I think we're kind of like repeating former mistakes when we threw away an opportunity to learn about somebody who had potential at that time. Now, if this continues where Schmidt's not playing up to potential, this is the good news. We have enough time in the season to do something about this.
Yeah.
So
an asset.
What do you do about it?
Well, I think the easiest thing is, of course, go for a trade. I don't even know who's going to be out there at the trade deadline. I really don't. I can't see that far. My crystal ball is a little hazy there. But I'm just saying.
Can you wait to the trade deadline to pull that trigger?
Well, I think so. I mean, look at their record. They're looking pretty good. They're. I mean, if he's going to fall off a cliff and not be able to recover at all from these performances, maybe it's going to hurt the team's ability to go further. But I'm going to be honest, it's not their record's not this bad because of him alone. They're giving up. They have a team defense problem, particularly defense problem. So, I put those on equal priority. We got to get this team playing better defense, giving up less great chances per game because they have been giving up way too many good chances.
I think the goals he's given up, though, Schmidt's goals he's given up are
I'm with you.
bad. Some of them. That's the only problem. Like I said, I'm not anti-Schmidt. I'm like,
he
some of these
doesn't
goals,
look
I'm like, wow.
that
I'm like,
calm, cool guy. I'll be honest with you. I don't see that same guy. He's got a little bit of a sophomore jinx going so far. I don't think it's necessarily going to last. I think he might find his groove, and we look back on this as, oh, wow, he had a little bit of a rough start, but boy, did he come on good. I think that's very possible still. Well, but, I'm glad we're doing these games to find out if that's true or not.
Look, he let in 3 in the first period against Washington. And you go back and look at that Washington game, that was probably the worst first period we've played in 2 years. I mean, it was god-awful. So he got no help in that one. But now I'm curious what you guys think. Bobby said on the last show that he thinks that Vanacek should get the next 3 games. Just, this was before the Buffalo game. So he's like, I think Vanacek should play both games against the Wild, and he should play, just let Schmidt sit, work with the goaltending coach, whatever, blah, blah. Do you guys agree with that, or do you think that Lindy should get him right back on the horse and put him in tomorrow, keep that same rotation, put him in tomorrow, V in a game 2 against the Wild, Schmidt in against St. Louis? What do you guys think?
He's got to play one of those games. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. It makes sense for it to be tomorrow because Vanacek played the last game, and we're going to want him to play against St. Louis. But on the other hand, if you feel like it doesn't really matter which, but he should play one of the next 3. And there's 2 reasons. One, Tony said it already.
I was about to say my predictions. I need
no.
Well, not about that. That's crazy. But one is what you did say that made sense was that we don't want to burn out Vanacek. Right. And why play him in back-to-backs? That's the natural place to play your backup. Okay. So play him in that. Stick to that plan. It's not like he goes out there and he's just a complete embarrassment. Something's wrong with him. He's playing hurt. If none of those things are happening, let's just try to play with him as our backup because that's what he is right now. He's, definitely assumed that number 2 role, and we don't really have a close number 3. That's something we can do if he does fall off the cliff is call somebody up.
Well, I guess it would be Keith Kincaid if we get to that point.
Which is interesting, fun, but I don't know if ultimately it's going to work out.
Now, I have a couple of reason why I think Schmidt should start tomorrow, and part of it is, so Schmidt comes in tomorrow and plays terrible again and gets yanked, and Vanacek is in, he finishes the game. You don't want that to happen on, let's say, Thursday night when you have to play again on Friday. And then, God forbid, Vanacek has to come in like he did against the Capitals and then play the next night against St. Louis. I just think to break it up, Schmidt tomorrow, Vanacek in the second game against Minnesota, and the third game on St. Louis, you put Schmidt back in. Keep the routine. I think anything, changing that routine up, I think can fuck with the team chemistry and just let everybody know in that locker room you still have faith in him. You're not going to deviate from the plan and just see how he does. Because I'm not giving up on him. He's had a rough go of it. Like you said, a sophomore jinx. It definitely seems like it. But, one good game can change that.
Absolutely.
Because these 2 can be very good. So
I think the only reason I kind of get worried a little bit is I remember the playoffs last year, and obviously Schmidt won really big games for us. I just kind of go back and I'm like, well, he was, he would have a great game, get shelled the next usually. Because when he did lose those games, it was like 5-1, or I'm probably not right on the scores, but it was definitely a large margin of goals against and all this. And I just been watching him, and I want Schmidt to succeed. I would like to have that where we have these 2 guys. When I watch him, I guess, like as watching many goaltenders, I'm just like, just some of the goals just look like I don't understand.
Forget about the playoffs, okay? And go back and look at him last year. He was solid in the regular season. Yes, he played well. He was a big part of the 13-game win streak. I mean, there was a few times this dude came off ice cold off the bench and was fucking lights out. So he has all the tools, whatever's going on. That, like I said, the team didn't help him at all on Wednesday night. I don't know if you can put that all on Akira Schmidt.
Which is true.
Look at the save percentage. Vanacek's save percentage is not much better than his right now. That means it's not either of them entirely. It's them and the team.
Yes.
Our goaltending's been a little, like I said, a little shaky.
You could say that, but I also think it's the team defense.
I think it's a lot more the team defense.
Has been rough.
Yeah, because the save percentage, it's easy to tag the goaltender with, but the truth is, when your defense makes a mistake, not all mistakes are equal. Some mistakes are going to result in a chance for the other team. Some mistakes are going to result in a really great chance for the other team. Those are the ones that kill your goalie save percentage. The ones that are like layups. There was one again last week where Schmid got, it was almost like a tap in. He was out looking for the shot, and it was kind of passed right back to him, back behind him, and it was just, he had no chance on it at all.
I mean,
and Vanecek's had some of those too, where we just done poor defense to where no one was stopping that shot. That's going to hurt their save percentage.
I mean, we let a breakaway last night. We let a couple of 2-on-1s, and Schmidt Vanecek came up huge. Vanecek doesn't. We don't win that game yesterday.
That first period, he was making some huge saves. Yeah,
but that wasn't. But you can't, like, even if we would have lost this game 6-4 because they score on that breakaway or whatever, you can't put that on Vanecek. That's on the team. Right. The team defense needs to tighten up, and I think when they do that, the goaltending, of course, will get a lot better. Right. I just think there is a lot of turnover on this team right now. It's not the same team from last year. You have guys like Tyler Toffoli who seem like they've been playing, with this team for 5 years, but you have other guys that are still trying to find their place now.
Right.
I mean,
Timo and others.
Yeah. I mean, I think Timo's starting to find his game now a little bit.
Yeah, he almost had a goal last night. He got
he had an assist.
Connery came up big.
Yeah, and I think that 5 more games, 6 more games, give them some time to figure it out a little bit. I think they're going to be a lot better.
It's also a way that this team doesn't ever like command the game for long stretches at a time. They kind of will just mellow out. Like you were talking about the second period last game. You're right. They were just kind of cruising through it. Now they scored the same amount of goals as Buffalo in that period. So they treaded water, but you look at them and you're like, you guys can dictate the pace of this game, because you're that good. You can do this. And they don't necessarily do that. They've yet to like control a game, top to bottom, really outplay and outwork a team.
I think the closest, the closest game I think this year that they did that was probably the Montreal game last week. Right. I thought that they played a sound game. They were, we still had the defensive breakdowns. I mean, that second goal for Montreal, I think it was a clear breakaway. I think whoever it was that got stripped.
But they did look like they had the initiative more than Montreal did that game, which is like the only one I can point to where I feel like that they've really dictated the game so far this year.
And the next 2 games don't get easier. Minnesota Wild are a good defensive team.
Yeah, absolutely.
I kind of worry, our offense is that good, right? Our offense that good to carry this defense through the year? Because I really feel like we really have to do something defensively.
Not in the playoffs.
It's a recipe for playoff disaster.
Yep.
We know this, and you got to get this right. It's got to be a team thing. You got to dictate play for the entire 60 minutes, and
there's teams that we thought weren't going to be that. We didn't think we were going to be awful this year, but there's teams that I didn't think were going to be 6-0 or all these crazy it's kind of, we're only early, and I know it's like only 7 games in, but yeah, I think that's the defense is worrying me a little bit. It's thank God our offense. You got Jack Hughes obviously, and Brad's been, and Tyler Toffoli. I didn't even get to talk to you guys last show about Toffoli's been like, it feels like he's been here for a couple of years almost. Guy's just a hell of a player.
Huge pickup.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's maybe 100 guys that play in this league that would love to be on, the winger of Jack Hughes' line. I mean, he just can make everybody a superstar. It reminds me of back in, when Brett Favre was with the Packers, and then, Bubba Franks, these dudes that you never hear of, and Brett just makes stars out of them because he's like, you just catch it and I'm going to throw it to you and I'm going to make you a fucking star. And he did it. And, Donald Driver and these dudes, like Brett had that weird way of just making dudes superstars, and Jack's the same way. So, you got any games tomorrow, Tone? Any football games?
I'm going to watch you. Actually, I want to give Chris, I have to say, I was watching, your team was the most impressive team to me last year. Mine was not. I fucking am getting ready to jump off a bridge I was telling Chris Dan that, I'm a big Raider fan since I was very young, and I'm done buying Raiders shit, even though I have plenty of it. I'm so frustrated with that team. But the Vikings, Chris, I'd be a little, after last weekend, I'd be a little pumped up, man, if I was you.
Well, look, I mean, it was a huge win. I'm super happy about it, but that win means nothing if you go tomorrow to Lambeau and you shit the bed. You got to beat the Packers and get back to 500 and then take it from there. I'll be a much bigger believer if they play a dominant game. If they play the way they played against San Francisco, they should dominate the Packers. If they do that, I'll be a little bit more of a believer.
What's your next two? You got Green Bay, and then who's after that?
Actually, the schedule gets a little light now. So we're on the road against Green Bay, and then we're on the road in Atlanta. And they're a good defensive team. And then we are home against the Saints. And that's our next three. I know we have like the Bears and the Bengals and
the fucking Bears.
There's some other teams in there. And then we have a bye. We come out of the bye. We play the Raiders. We play the Lions the last 2 of the last 3 weeks. So our last 3 weeks. Monday. So now I was going to bring that up. The Lions looked absolutely terrible on Sunday. I mean, Baltimore kicked the shit out of them. And Garoppolo's playing. If you guys can hang with them and beat them, that can go a long way to taking the Raiders to the next level. I really do believe that. Raiders will not
be successful until Josh McClown is gone. And I have never disliked a coach as much in my life as I dislike, Josh. I mean, I don't understand like the play. He's losing the locker room now. I mean, you know what the result of this year is going to be? First of all, the Raiders are not going to do shit this year. I hate to say, and as Chris, I'm a diehard. Like I'm a Raider fan through and through. We're going to lose Devontae Adams because of this coach. There's going to be a lot of, it is just going to be the usual soap opera bullshit.
I think Monday night's going to tell a lot about what's going on with the Raiders moving forward. But for anybody else,
game, man, that Bears game killed me. That was
when you lose to a Division II quarterback. But the NFL season's going strong, whether or not the Raiders are a team going strong or, even my Vikings. But DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking new customers up with an offer that's even stronger. Bet $5 on any game this week to score $200 instantly in bonus bets. And DraftKings isn't stopping there. All customers can take advantage of a sweetener offer every game day this October. I'm not telling people to bet, but I would maybe throw a few bucks on the Jets, who are, -3 over the Giants. I think the Jets are going to win a really low-scoring game, and I think they're going to do it by more than 3. And
I want Tony to bet on the Raiders.
Minnesota is favored by 1. I like that. I like Minnesota to win, and I like them to cover. So get in on game day greatness and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet $5 on the NFL. That's code THPN only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, Louisiana, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Tony, you have news?
Yeah, I got some news if you guys want to do that.
I want to do some news. You want to do news, Dan?
Hell yeah. Definitely.
Coming to you live from the Uncle Pucker's news desk in a basement somewhere in Lithuania. Sports, politics, current events, and entertainment. It's the news of the day with Tony A.
How do you beat that sounder? I don't even know how to, after you get that sounder is like, it's great. It's like, how do you beat that? And speaking of gambling, which I've seen a couple fans comment about this, and I agree 100%. NHL suspended Ottawa Senators forward Shane Pinto for 41 games Thursday. He's 22-year-old for modern day. He's just basically gambling, not on hockey games. How are you going to have these guys wear a fucking gambling things on their helmets and then suspend them for gambling? I mean, is this like double standard? I don't know. It's like
give me the facts, newsman.
So he wasn't He wasn't gambling on hockey games. They say. But he was just gambling in general. Sports games. Maybe horses, football.
Craps in the hallway. What was he doing?
And they suspended him. They suspended for 41 games. But if you look at his photos, he has a helmet with the goddamn gambling stickers on it.
What if he went to Atlantic City and he was gambling? They would suspend him for that? I feel like something's missing here.
No,
you're not
that's
allowed to gamble
much,
at all?
I guess
Period?
you're not.
You can't play in a friendly poker game.
Chris, you may know more about this than I do.
I'm almost positive. I'm not sure about hockey, but like with football, I know that they are allowed to gamble. They just can't gamble on football, which is crazy.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Right. But
so you sure that this guy wasn't gambling on hockey?
He was not gambling on hockey. And the NHL said there's no evidence that he bet on any NHL games.
Then what the fuck is he suspended
on
for?
any NHL games or just his games? Like that's the other thing.
No
too.
NHL games, zero NHL games.
It is a double standard because you are now all these NHL, NFL, all these major sports leagues are in bed with these gambling companies now. DraftKings and Prize Picks and Underdog and all
But we like DraftKings the best.
We like DraftKings the best.
Yeah, the rest of them suck right now.
And just remember code THPN.
Right.
And you can't take billions of dollars from these advertisers, these gambling companies, and then you are shocked and suspending players when they have it on their phones. They're fucking they're gonna. So I don't know what the NHL's rules are as far as gambling on sports or in general. Maybe they're a little bit different. Maybe in the NHL you are not allowed to gamble at all. But I know
we don't even know if it was a sport. Do we know he was gambling on a sport?
Well, I'm pretty sure it was sports, but yeah, I think it was.
What else would he be gambling on?
Yeah, sports.
Well,
sports
you said it wasn't on NHL, so
activities related to sports gambling. So yeah,
activities. This is very murky story.
Cockfights, maybe. I don't know.
That's what it is. Oh, maybe he was betting on dogs and Michael Vick and shit. That'll get you suspended.
So the NHL and NHLPA collective bargaining agreement says that gambling on any NHL game is prohibited. NHL teams can go as far as prohibiting employees from hockey operations to the business side from even joining fantasy leagues for money. So Shane Pinto, But the Americans wagered, $220 billion on sports.
I bet.
The crown is yours.
Yeah, exactly. So it says here that 2 years ago, the league investigated Evander Kane for gambling after his estranged wife claimed he bet on NHL games, including against his own team. I can see why you get suspended by.
Yeah, that's
but it doesn't say Senators in 2021 be first team to
Let me
add
play
again.
devil's advocate for a second, though.
Yeah.
These players are multimillionaires, for the most part, and especially you talk about Evander Kane, and I mean, I get it. Like if they told them, "Hey, no gambling while you're working here at this job that makes you millions," that's the condition. Then totally, like what do you need? You need the juice that much that you can't put that aside right now. I mean, that's kind of silly. But I just still don't understand the crux of this. Like, this guy didn't bet on the NHL.
Doesn't look like it.
Suspended.
I agree.
For half a season, 41 games.
And like you said, the Ottawa Senators have a Betway sticker on their helmet. Like they're one of the only teams that have like gambling advertisers on their uniforms. But it's a little bit crazy that they would suspend him that much. I mean, I don't know if there's more that's going to come out, but right now that does seem a bit fucking wacky.
I mean, the stickers on the helmets was just, to me, it was like an interesting thing. I was like, how do you half a season just seems really extreme for that.
Well, I hate those. Who cares? Those advertisements on the uniforms and even the helmets. Just it doesn't matter what it is. I just hate them all. Those
the first one I remember seeing was Toronto with the milk that they got in bed with the Canadian dairy manufacturers or whatever, and they have milk on their uniforms.
We have the coffee emblem.
We have the coffee one on our helmet. But
what is it? Coffee?
Yeah,
coffee company.
Well, the Devils do this.
I haven't noticed that yet.
The Devils, they do this thing.
Oh yeah, because that local
yes,
company, right?
Like the guy, I guess, won something, and he's like a startup business. I think that the dude whose coffee it is, he's like, I think of either a veteran.
Mr. Bean, his name is.
He's, I forget who it is, but like he was part of this program, and like the Devils sponsored it, and he gets his coffee company on the helmets. That was part of it. He's like this disabled dude. I saw him in an interview. during the prospect challenge. But it's all stupid. What else you got, Tone?
Okay, this was this was a story that I actually think is awesome. I think you guys will agree. Arizona Coyote defenseman, 26-year-old Travis Dermott defies the pride tape rule. We all know what's been happening the last year where they basically didn't want you to put the tape on the sticks anymore and stuff, and he basically said, "Fuck it,
pride."
He said, "Fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway. Go ahead and fine me. I don't give a shit." I think a couple players said that. 72 hours later, the NHL decided to backpedal on their little thing.
All you have to do is do a little bit of pushback to the NHL, no matter what side you're on, and
we're
they
sorry.
just crumble.
We're sorry, guys, sorry.
Yeah,
now
we didn't mean to offend anyone. Sorry.
It is crazy because the whole thing started with a few assholes going, not wanting to use the pride tape and everything, and the NHL
Why are they cramming that tape down my throat?
Oh,
I love that analogy.
Shut the fuck up.
Well,
And
it's an interesting analogy. That's they go right there, like a down the throat thing.
Dermott does a lot of shit behind the sscenes for charities and stuff I was reading, but he said the biggest thing you can do is do it on the main stage and get to put the spotlight on you. And, he said flat out right away. I think there was 3 or 4 players that said it. I'm going to basically do it anyway. What are you going to do? And, the NHL did what
come
I
out
thought
here
they
like
would
Rainbow
do.
Bright, ripping a fucking my whole body.
Pigtails. But I was but they did what I thought they would do, the NHL, because I think it was Dana, what's his name? That guy from the fighting.
Carvey,
Dana
Carvey.
Dana Carvey. Yeah, I like Dana Carvey. Dana White said something. One thing that he did say was true is that NHL is basically run by a bunch of old dudes with mentality. I mean, and that's, you see it with that, but I'm glad to see that they, obviously jump back on their thing, which I thought they would. But, not surprising.
It's kind of a crazy thing to illegal a certain color tape. I mean, it's about as dumb as it gets, what do you, tape color now? With it it gets a little silly.
Let's give it up for, what was his name?
It's Travis Dermott.
Well, good for you, Travis. Well done, buddy.
I want you guys to realize how hard it is for Chris to get all these guys to clap at the same time at his house. It's very
crazy.
Very
and they're
tricky.
quiet the whole rest of the time.
Yes.
And then I just point to them, like right now. Clap, motherfuckers. They're good. Shut up, assholes.
No, I don't know when to stop.
What else you got?
Okay, now we're going to get into the usual doom and gloom, guys. Richard Mole from Night Court.
What?
Richard Mole from Night Court. Bull has passed away yesterday.
Bull's dead?
Yes, he is dead.
Oh
he also
my
voiced
God.
Harvey Dent, Two-Faced in the DC Animated Universe series Batman, the animated series, and the new Batman Adventures. Also a movie that I remember from '85, Night Train to Terror. But 80 years old.
He was 80?
Isn't that crazy?
Get the fuck out of here.
80 years
Bull was
old.
80?
Bull. Yep.
Holy shit.
Isn't that nuts? 80. We're fucking getting old. I saw Elvira 72. I mean,
wow.
Rest in peace, Bull.
Yeah.
And we also know, obviously, I made the best joke about it, but because I did like him. We had that Matthew Perry died. I just saw it tonight when I was.
All right, let's rank the friends because
okay.
I always rank them in my mind.
Chandler's the funniest at the end of the day.
Well,
are you ranking who's dying when, or who's going to be the next?
Well, we know, but maybe about. All right, most annoying to least annoying. Well, let's go least annoying to most annoying.
Okay.
Who's the least? There's 6 friends. Give me the least annoying friend first in your mind.
Chandler.
Can I just?
Oh, because he's
can
dead?
I just step? Can I just step away from this conversation?
I got to make up for my last comment.
I have never watched Friends.
My
their
wife
faces
watches it all.
Oh yeah, but to ask me who's the most annoying, I mean.
Yes. Who's got the most annoying face? All
the
6
one
of
that
their
just
faces.
died was very annoying. Matthew Perry.
All right.
Yes.
Honestly, he's the second most annoying friend.
Dan, who are you going to say? Does it begin with an R? Does it begin with an R?
Ross. Ross was the most annoying friend.
So fucking annoying.
First of all the guys were more annoying than the girls. Ross was number 1 most annoying.
Okay.
Chandler, God rest his soul, second most annoying. All right. And third most annoying was
Jennifer
Joey.
Aniston.
Joey. Come on. He had the worst catchphrases and just mugged for the camera after saying them. Like it was like as if he was fucking, D from fucking What's Happening. He was like the worst actor in the world.
So did Tootie. And
Yeah,
Natalie
Judy,
from Facts of Life. Natalie
they were all
used to
bad
do
actors.
Take the good, you take the bad, you take them
Absolutely.
both, and there you have it.
80s was a rough time for actors, but
Yeah.
the women were far less annoying. Monica, she gets the
Which one was that?
She was Courtney Cox.
Courtney Cox.
Right?
Okay, I like Courtney Cox.
Played by Courtney. Yeah, and then Jennifer Aniston.
Annoying.
And then the least annoying is Phoebe in my mind, because although was her character that great all the time? No, doing the show was just whatever. But her as like a person was, I think, the least annoying.
Who was the
all
most
6.
attractive, Dan? Well, I'm saying that the most polite.
Definitely
Jennifer
Chandler.
Aniston.
Chandler.
Great.
No,
Yeah,
I
that's
think Monica. I don't know. She was pretty good looking. My
I
wife
don't know.
watches
I
the
go
show
with
all the
Jennifer
time.
Aniston.
She's so annoying on that show. Dan will probably tell you. My wife watches that.
All three of them were, beautiful. But I mean, I would say Jennifer Aniston.
Dan, who was your favorite 80s character and Chris out of all those shows back then?
What? Wait, favorite TV
If you had to pick like your
character?
favorite
Well,
TV
Friends was
character
in the
back
80s.
then.
So back when we were kids. So growing up, like who was my favorite
Who was
character?
your favorites? Late 70s, 80s, because we all fall into that bracket of when we were watching TV. They played those late 70s shows still on the afternoon and evenings.
Oh my God, there were so many shows that I love. Taxi. I used to love watching Taxi. Especially because when I started watching it in reruns and stuff late at night, I was little, so I didn't get any of it. It was awesome. Yeah, the whole character was great. I'm like, this is the best place in the world to be. I want to fucking drive a cab, which mostly consists of sitting around at the place
hanging around.
They were hardly ever in the cars. It was amazing. They just fucking sat there.
I was a huge Cheers fan.
Cheers, yeah. Cheers.
And I was a huge All in the Family fan. I loved All in the Family. So I'm going to say Archie Bunker was my favorite character.
I'm going to say John Ritter because I think John Ritter was awesome. I mean,
I hated Three's Company, though. That was just a terrible show. I hated it.
I still watch it. I could still watch it. I love it.
I was not a fan.
And Suzanne Summers now, too, is gone. I mean, now you only have Joyce DeWitt left. I mean,
I think
Suzanne Summers passed away.
I think
Joyce DeWitt's still alive. No, she's still alive. Her and Larry are the only two left on that show.
Larry's still alive?
Yeah, Larry's still alive. I can't remember.
What was the name of the bar that they used to hang out at all the time?
The Regal Beagle.
I wasn't asking you, Dan. I knew you knew the Regal Beagle.
Sorry.
The Regal Beagle.
So what's your next story, Tone?
Okay, back into the, obviously it's getting to that point of the show. A Florida GameStop employee, it always goes to Florida, now faces manslaughter charges after fatally shooting a man who tried to leave his store with unpaid merchandise. 33-year-old Derek Guerrero was working at a store in Pembroke Pines, Florida, when he noticed a shoplifter. Did
Ron DeSantis give him a medal yet, or what?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, right.
He's getting a trophy tomorrow.
I think he just named him Secretary of the Defense of Florida.
Exactly.
Right. So
they charge him with not having a big enough gun.
As the suspect ran towards the door with 5 boxes of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Ultra Premium trading cards,
those are some good fucking cards.
You can't let that shit walk out the door.
Exactly.
Those are the fucking primo cards.
Guerrero pulled out his concealed firearm and blew his ass away.
Wow.
The suspect died from his injuries. Was taken. Obviously, Guerrero was taken into custody on manslaughter charges and was released on bond Thursday. Everybody, Florida, I don't know if you guys probably know, but now anybody can pretty much have a pistol. I think you can pretty much, you don't even have to have. I think you got to be it might be an age thing, but you don't have to even get a permit anymore, I think, and stuff.
They sell them at 7-Eleven in Florida.
It's the Wild West.
I know Walmart. Walk in, it's like, can I get a pack of Parliament and a Glock, please? No, it's just disgusting. It's really disgusting. So I really hope that you end this news on a funny story.
Of course not.
That was it.
It's Halloween coming up, man. Okay, this is my last story. As the remains of 189 decaying bodies were found.
This is the funny story.
And removed from a Colorado funeral home.
Wait. Say it again.
The remains of 189 decaying bodies were found and removed from a Colorado funeral home. At first it was reported that 115 were reported. So basically a foul odor was reported near the establishment. The Return to Nature Funeral Home, great name, right?
Okay.
So they weren't burying the people; they were just storing them.
Basically, pile You just throw them in a pile.
Right.
The discovery
Return to
came
nature.
after the owners were missing their tax payments and getting evicted from one of their properties. They had several properties. When calling the owners said they were aware there's a problem. So basically, they weren't. They were not
mountain
burying.
of bodies.
Trying to reanimate them all.
They were not
They're
burying their
beginning to
bodies. And
decay.
this is not the first time this has happened. There's been like 3 of these in the last few years. One, I guess they just got up and left and just left all the bodies
They're
there.
dead. They can't get up and leave. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Man, haven't you seen Return of the Living Dead, man?
I have. You're right. So they turned into zombies and they left.
Punk zombies. Yeah, Night of the Living Dead.
That's the thing with zombies. Nobody ever talks about how bad they must smell.
Oh my god!
Like you would smell a zombie coming. I mean, when you get like gangrene of a limb or something, that like it just reeks so bad. It's like famously the most awful. And these people just somehow sneak up on people all the time.
Entire bodies of gangrenous rot.
Gangrenous.
Yeah, it is. You're right about
It
that.
smell bad.
Nobody thinks
They
about it.
never
They think
talk about that.
Like The Walking Dead. You guys, my wife watches this show, and she's.
I used to watch
these
it,
people.
yeah.
Did they not? I would watch these characters on the show, and they all had like 5 o'clock shadows. Their hair was all done. Everyone's
Sure.
you know.
They always
eventually
had
everyone's
makeup
fucking-
on.
I'm
Yes.
like, how stinky must these people be? You know.
Well, you don't even mean the zombies. You mean people like
the
leaving
regular-
out there.
Yeah.
without
The
their-
zombies, you know.
Sure.
The one thing that you have to do to keep your spirits up in a post-apocalyptic world is make sure that you keep yourself well groomed and
Yes.
your
Good
hygiene is
personal
good
hygiene.
and all of that, because everything else is shit. That doesn't mean that you should go out looking like shit. You
Look,
should
it's
do
the end
your
of the
hair.
world, but it's not
You
the
should
end
put
of
your makeup
looking
on. Right.
good. Yeah,
They're still
I mean-
breeding, having kids. I mean, it's a bad time to have fucking kids too with these movies.
And like
That's
think
fine.
about how many like Gen Xers would die in a zombie apocalypse trying to take a selfie with the fucking horde of zombies. Like they would have to be in the fucking middle of it.
I didn't know we were the selfie generation.
So, do you guys feel bad when you read a story
Did I
about
say
someone who's taking a
Generation
selfie on a cliff
Yes,
and falls off?
You said X.
I didn't mean X.
You
I
mean
meant
Zs?
millennials. Yeah.
Millennials?
Yes. Not us.
Do you guys feel any pity for these people who like take a selfie and fall off a building or fall off a cliff?
Yes,
Or
I do. I feel so bad for them. No, I went to one place in Arizona. It was like this place a lot of people have taken selfies. It's like this
And died.
canyon, Horseshoe Bend, and it's really pretty there. And yeah, like 3 or 4 people a year die just falling in, taking selfies, which is kind of hilarious.
I was listening to a podcast the other day. It was a Viking show, right? And they had this woman on. She is, I forget her name, but it works for NHL.com for the Minnesota Wild and stuff. So, but she does a Viking podcast with a couple of the guys that I listen to on the Purple Daily Show. So she's telling a story this week on her show. She's going about her phone and that she's been without a phone for like 48 hours because as she was driving home from her job, she saw this beautiful like fall scenery, and she wanted to stop and take a picture of it. And she went out to like a dock. And of course, she had to set her phone up because it wasn't just a picture of the scenery. She had to take a fucking selfie. And then her phone fell into this lake, like this swampy water, and it got destroyed. And exactly what you just said, like my whole thinking was, why did you have to be in the fucking picture? Like, why could you just not take a picture of this beautiful scenery, share it to your friends? No, you have to be in it. I don't understand that fucking mentality.
On some level, I agree with you, but I will tell you that there's another way of looking at this. Okay. And I didn't really get this until I kind of tried seeing the world a little bit through my kids' eyes and stuff. And they make a good point. Like, okay, as far as like being at a beautiful place, like I was saying about Horseshoe Bend or this fall scene, right? You live in a world now where everybody's taking that picture. That picture's out there a billion times. When you take your picture of it, why do you even bother? Like
I would do it for myself.
Go to the Eiffel Tower, take a picture at an angle that nobody's done before. Get the fuck out of here. Everybody's done it. So when you take a picture of yourself, now that is actually different because that's you and the thing.
I still
So at least you're creating something new. That's the best I could say about it because I am trying to play devil's advocate here. I hate selfies.
Right.
I will never be able to take
Have
one.
you guys
I don't
ever
want to
taken
look
a
at
selfie?
pictures of myself. No.
I've never taken a picture of myself holding up a phone.
I mean, I think
once in a while I would take pictures of myself trying to mimic, do an impression of what the fuck is his name?
Danny DeVito?
No. Oh, fuck.
Ross. Chandler.
No, he did the
Monica?
John Adams series. Oh, Paul Giamatti.
Okay.
So Paul Giamatti, when he's done a lot of great things, actually. I like him as an actor, but he did this one series where he was John Adams.
Yeah.
And this face he made, he was like that. So for like maybe 2 or 3 years, I would send my wife selfies of me being Paul Giamatti in random places, like Paul Giamatti, and we would call it Paul Giamatti face.
Right.
That's the closest I ever came to like doing a selfie.
I mean, I think everybody's has taken selfies, but to me, like the whole
with
thought
your
of
nephew or
just-
something, right? Or some kid.
Yeah, like I mean, it's just to
Yeah.
like go like you know what I wouldn't do like that's original. I think like if I ever go to Italy, I'm gonna go to the Leaning Tower of Pisa and I'm gonna stand away from it, but I'm gonna hold my hand up to make it look like I'm holding the tower
that's a
because nobody's
great
ever
idea.
done that.
That's a great idea.
Thank you.
I have to take that back, Chris. I have like when I'm working in the kitchen, I have you get the big colanders of sausage, the big tube of sausage. I have
Sure.
taken a selfie with that, like prop
Right,
up,
right.
dopey
Between your
shit.
legs, acting like a
glass,
fucking,
like an idiot,
degenerate. Yeah, of
kitchen
course, we've
life.
all done that.
Served
10
it to the
pounds of
people.
ground beef between your legs, that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
You always do it.
Tube
I
sock
still
and some
do it.
gel. Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that. You want to document that.
So before we wrap it up, it's getting a little late. Guys, have a prediction. Tomorrow's game at home against the Minnesota Wild, 5 p.m. start. What do you guys think?
3-0 Devils. I got to get my 2 goals in there, and Schmid with the shutout. I'm going to say, which is insane.
3-0.
Yeah, 3-0.
All right, I like that. Dan,
The Devils will win, and they will win by 2 goals.
do you have a score? Or are you just going to go with 2?
It'll be 4-2.
Okay. I think they're going to keep the good play going. I think that Minnesota's a good team, but I think the Devils are, they know that they're down a few guys. They're kind of backs against the wall. I think they're going to go out. They're going to win. I'm going to say a complete 60-minute game, complete offensive game with 6 goals, and a complete team defensive game allowing only 1. It's going to be a 6-1 victory tomorrow.
You're a madman.
There you go.
Dude, Anaheim
what if I
smoked Philly today, like 7-2.
What if I get 3 goals from Hughes, like I said? What if I get 3 goals from Hughes tomorrow on my 3-0 win, a Schmid shutout, and over the 2 goal?
Well, then you would hit all your predictions in one game.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
thank you so much for checking us out, guys. We are the Uncle Puckers, Dan, Tony, and Chris. Like
Happy
us,
Halloween this
subscribe. Happy Halloween, everybody. Have a safe Halloween. If you live in the Toms River, New Jersey area, remember trick-or-treating is Monday and the parade is Tuesday. Isn't that
I'm not ready for
crazy? I know, dude. It really is crazy. Time just flies by. But anyway, check us out. Download us. Subscribe. Like. Positive review. Negative review. Email us. Tell us why you like us. Tell us why you hate us. Doesn't matter. We want to hear from you. So on that note, we'll see you when we see you.
Look at that.
Peace.
It's over, Johnny. It's over.
All right, guys. That was fun.
Yeah.